it's official. The D1 recruiting dead period is going to end, end like May 31st. Everything is going to open back up again on June 1st. The WIAA has not really said, at least as far as I've seen, and I've talked to a few coaches, they have not said anything as far as what is going to be allowed as, for spring practices. Basically, this year's high school sports cycle ends towards the end of June, and typically it would end on Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend, and then that Monday is when football and all the other practices would be allowed to start. So what people are kind of figuring out is that it will probably be something very similar starting the weekend after it wouldn't be the state championships, but it'd be the weekend after the high school 2021 season is over, which is, I want to say it's like the 19th or something like that of June, somewhere in that area. But other than that, I mean, we've seen, some athletes announcing that they're going to be taking official visits. What else do you see in terms of, I guess, what do you expect kind of to happen after June 1st?
I think mayhem, because what's essentially going to happen is everything is going to be crammed into June, because essentially what the NCAA did was they basically repealed the calendar, if you will, to the normal calendar. So June 1st will continue to be a quiet period. The dead period is no longer, but from June until the end of June, it'll be a quiet period. What that means is that coaches can have camps on campus. That means official visits can happen on campus. There may be the opportunity for coaches to do some off-campus evaluations, but that's unlikely to happen. What's more likely going to happen is that they're going to allow for workouts on campus during official visits. During unofficial visits. So a player could come to campus, the coaches could look at him and say, hey, we want to measure you. We want you to go run a 40 real quick. It might not be a camp per se, just a little bit of a workout since they lost their 6th week. But in a traditional recruiting cycle, June is used for coaches to host camps, to go to college camps, provided they are on NCAA university campuses. That's why you've seen PLU host them in the past. That's why, you've seen them at Lewis and Clark, at Pacific University in Oregon. Those are NCAA universities. Even if they're Division III, they can host them and have a number of schools come to them. But then July will go back to being a dead period. Again, save a 1-week quiet period in July. Now, that's when schools like Oregon had done their Saturday Night Live. When Ohio State and Florida do their Friday Night Lights, they'll do that during that 1 week in the summer in July. So all really the NCAA has done is cram 15 months worth of evaluations into the month of June, and then everything's back to status quo in July. So coaches are going to have to manage hosting official visits, hosting unofficial visits, hosting camps, all in the month of July.
Yeah, and if you are a student athlete, I hope you've been saving your money, because you're going to want to attend some of these camps, and this is where you got to be smart, and you got to be really smart and make sure that you are maximizing where you're going and when you're going, because like we talked about it, I think it was on last week's, about, PLU's camp, and I had people asking me about, hey, that same weekend USC has a camp, and it's like, yeah, but, you got to make sure you're going to the right one, and so.
And you and I need to do a camp podcast where we basically say how to camp right.
Yes.
Because we could save so much heartache and heartbreak on the camp tour for so many people if they just tune in.
Yeah, well, and I think the way that I always put it when I do my DIY recruiting stuff, it's the biggest mistake people make is I tell them you have to think with your head and not your heart.